that didn't take terribly long, did it? Down to one parking spot in here. I was forced to park my, well, one of my enclosed trailers in here, and one more vehicle, because my landlord at my warehouse had a change of heart about leaving vehicles parked out front during the winter. Is what it is. Had to deal with it. So, in case you're wondering, how does this guy afford this fabulous remote storage and all of these vehicles that are worth tens of thousands of pennies each? Well, I'll show you, because you know, I'm sure you're wondering. Seriously though, I'm proud of this. There's some good vehicles in here. Like, this van's pretty nice. Nobody wants to buy it because it has a serious flaw that does not coincide with 2023. Besides the fact that it looks like you're gonna, you know, get banned from parking in front of your kid's grade school. See, this van has an anti-theft device that nobody wants to deal with. It's called a third pedal. Yep, it's stick. And I've been trying to sell this thing for well over a year now, and people scan right past the part in the description in the listing that says it's stick shift, and they think it's a mistake. And one guy show up and he's like, "Oh, it's actually got a manual trans in it." I'm like, "Yeah." I think, "Oh yeah, I can't drive that." They're like, "Dude, you have no idea what you're missing in life." Anywho, and you know, I'll get to this one someday. Someday, yeah, right. That thing's awesome. But yeah, how does Jim afford this high dollar building with these custom concrete floors? Well, I'll show you. Part of it is, well, like this for example. I bought this from Silas and brought it back out here, and I just took a deposit on it. I sold it. Supposed to get it out of here in a week or two, probably after the holidays. All in, I probably doubled up my money on it, which it's not really bad. If it was a short bet, I would have done way better, but I brought it back with the ambulance. I don't know what I'm doing with the ambulance. I like old emergency vehicles. That thing's so cool. Wish it was a Ford, but you know, beggars can't be choosers. Brought it back with the ambulance and that Ford pickup bed. So I figured, you know, when you do something like that, you split your travel costs 3 ways. So I figure I have about $200 into this thing on top of the purchase price. So about $1,700, and I sold it for $3,700. So made about $2 grand on it, which paid for that thing. So the ambulance is pretty much free in my mind right now. The bed, I should have no problem selling that closer to the spring or tax time. Oh, I should be able to make at least $1,000 off of that. So the bed should pay for itself and the rest of the expenses for the trip. So the ambulance will be completely free at that point. Oh, it's all about buying stuff smart. This thing was kind of a mistake. Bought it from auction. The engine ended up being locked up. But between the parts I can use off of it and the parts I can sell off of it, it'll be pretty much free at that point. One next to it was a mistake, but not on my part. Again, bought it through auction. And unfortunately, when I got the title back, it was a salvage title. Yeah, it wasn't our certificate of destruction. Yeah, it was a certificate of destruction, and it's supposed to have a clear title, and the auction company won't do anything about it. And it's a shame. This thing's absolutely rust free. It's from California. It is super, super, super clean. But I have ideas. I've got a really, 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 really rusty four-wheel drive van, so I think I'm going to take the two and make one. That's the master plan. This undecided because I like it, but I have a chance to make some decent money off of it for what I paid for it. So, T-Bird, I'm in it right. I'll make money off of it after I get it running. The green car in the corner, it actually belongs to my buddy Nick. I bought it for him as a surprise because he really likes my two Galaxies, or Customs, whatever you want to call them. And I didn't want to come off either one. And Nick's a really good guy, so I bought it for him. I figured that way he'll be forced to keep it and do something with it rather than get bored and sell it. So far, so good. He's going through a divorce right now, so I let him keep it here for a little bit. So, anywho, I can't go this way. Yeah, can't go this way. So, I recently shared a short of kind of what I do for a living, and it kind of took off. The one video right now is at like 65,000 views. The other one's at like 25,000. So, figure I'd give you guys an idea of what, better idea what I do. So, vehicles are mostly a hobby, but when we get back to the warehouse, I'll show you how I make my money, how I'm able to afford all this. Maybe help some of you afford your hobbies. Well, let's get going. So, decided I'm gonna go stop at this storage locker I'm emptying out right now. I'm gonna stop there for a little bit and get a load of garbage out of there. So, obviously, well, I got my love of cars from my father. My father was a truck mechanic, truck/diesel mechanic. He worked for the company that made all those green road signs and all those orange construction signs. And if you ever see the slogan on a construction sign, it says "Give him a break, slow down," and little guy holding a shovel. It was one of his coworkers that came up with that. His company at the time made they had like a in-company contest, like whoever can come up with this slogan or whatever. And his coworker, who I worked with briefly after my dad passed away, was the guy that came up with that slogan. So it's kind of cool. So if you're driving through the Chicago area and you see these big green road signs and the construction signs and the barricades and stuff, that was what my dad did. He worked at all their trucks. He was the head mechanic, and he drove a tow truck on the side, like part-time. And I used to wait for my dad to come home after work to see what kind of junker he was towing home. And he used to let me rummage through the seats for change. I'd rip all the emblems off it and shit. And he junked a lot of AMCs. A lot of AMCs. It was weird. Like AMCs just weren't made for the long run, I guess. So after he passed away, I was 13. So next few years, several years actually, I want to be like my dad. I want to work on stuff. Well, he had like the world's largest collection of Snap-on tools that were promised to me, and my grandfather was holding on to them for me until I turned 18. Well, my grandfather passed away like when I was like 15, and a family member didn't understand what was going on with my dad's tools and sold them all, and gave my mom like $1,500 or something. It was heartbreaking. And anyways, so for the longest time, I could only afford one vehicle at a time, whether it be a project vehicle or a daily driver. It was one or the other. I couldn't, oh shit, I couldn't have both. And our driveway was horrible condition. It was absolutely horrible. It was basically a gravel driveway. It's concrete, but it was like damn near gravel. So I got used to working on vehicles in subpar conditions with subpar tools. Just is what it is. You know, that's how I grew up. So after I got my license, yeah, I had vehicles before I had my license. After I got my license, things improved a little bit. You know, I worked at Firestone for a little bit. Where else did I work? I can't remember. But you know, started meeting people. So after high school, I started parting out Fox body Mustangs, like the ones that were like really rusty or wrecked or just in really poor shape. I'd see them laying in people's driveways, leave a note, and sometimes they call me, and I'd part them out. And met some really great people that way. Met some really shitty people that way too. But made some real good contacts doing that, and it just kind of escalated from there. So all of a sudden, I was able to afford a project vehicle and a daily driver. Yeah, crazy. And then it escalated to, well, I got a project vehicle, a daily driver, and a tow vehicle. Wow, that was just, you know, my mind was freaking blown. And then for a while, what I was doing is I'd go to LKQ, you pulled or you pick apart, whatever you want to call it. So every Tuesday and Wednesday, I think it was, like 2 different yards, they'd have a half off day. So I'd go there on the half off days, and I used to load up. I'd spend probably, I don't know, $300, $400, or $500 a week buying parts out of there and flipping them on Craigslist and eBay and the different parts forums. That was right around Cash for Clunkers, if anybody remembers that one. So there was a ton of V8 Ford Explorers in there. So I was taking apart every single one I could get my hands on, get the cylinder heads and the intake manifold. Well, some of them came with GT40 heads, others came with GT40P heads. The GT40s have a little bit higher value than the Ps. I had a deal worked out with a guy. He was bead blasting all the intakes for me. So I was selling them as like refurbished intakes. Sometimes I would paint them and polish the plaques, and I was doing pretty good for myself. And yeah. And things just kind of escalated from there. Made some bad choices along the way, made some great choices. Got into selling new old stock car parts on eBay, and that worked out pretty good. And then new old stock car parts kind of ventured into just vintage items, antiques. I know a lot about antique bicycles. I was big into the bicycle hobby for a while. I don't know, my mind's like a sponge. I just absorb all this information that I see, and that's why I like driving through the country, because my mind has a chance to settle down. When I'm driving through the city, my mind's like overloaded, and I'm like bouncing off the walls, and I just can't handle it. So, and that all kind of escalated into buying storage lockers. Well, went to estate sales for the longest time. I love garage sales, love them. Started going to estate sales. The estate sales just got a little too competitive. If you're an estate sale person, you'd understand what I mean. It just, people want to pick fights with you because you're the tallest one in line, and that's just not cool. Everybody's looking for a way to vent their frustrations and anger, and they usually pick on the biggest guy there. It's weird, you know. You pick on the big guy to pick a fight with, not the little guy. It's just weird how the world works. I got tired of it, and then I got into storage lockers. And right after I got into storage lockers, Storage Wars came out and kind of, you know, made everything a little more difficult. But I survived, and here I am with a fleet of derelict Fords and a warehouse full of junk. So go stop this storage locker and talk a little bit more about that. Oh, look at that Chevy SSR. Those are cool. Talk about those real quick. I somehow got tickets to this this thing that GM was doing one time. It was called the GM Auto Show in Motion, or they went around the country and you get like test drive all their vehicles on like you know, like cone courses, and you know, like a oval track. And I got a few tickets to the one, so I took myself and a couple buddies, and they gave us lunch and everything, and I got kicked out. Yeah, I got kicked out. I wasn't driving crazy, I was just going faster than they wanted me to. And see, what happened was, if they give you one warning, they put a line on your bracelet that you're wearing, and then after that they kick you out. So by the time I went to go get the second line, the guy, I'm trying to like hide it so that he doesn't see the first line, and he's like putting a line on my bracelet, and he's like, oh, wait a minute, you already got a line on here. Oh yeah, we're gonna have to ask you to leave. I'm like, all right, I'm cool with that. It was the end of the day, and I had a lot of fun, so it was an experience. Oh, all right, well, I'm gonna get to this locker for a little bit, so see you there. So that kind of leads me to this. This mess is how I make most of my money, and how I am able to afford all of these vehicles and paying storage on them and the parts and whatnot. This is a majority of it. Yeah, this mess. I got into buying storage lockers about 15 years ago, and this kind of changed my life. If you really think about it, yeah, it's not the most honorable thing to do. You're basically, to an extent, you're making money off other people's misery, and if you really think about it, it sucks. You don't want to be that person. But on the other hand, you're one like this. We're pretty sure the guy passed away. He had no family. And what happens if we didn't buy it? This company would have put all the stuff straight into a dumpster and right to the landfill. So all the cool stuff we've been finding in here would have been lost forever. And we've been finding tons of like late 70s, early 80s concert shirts, like all the big name bands, like unbelievable stuff. We got the one where the Ozzy Osbourne like bites the head off the bat in Texas or whatever. That's an awesome shirt. I found one for sale for like $900. So, and as you saw in the short, we found 2 firearms in here. So, and I have a knack for finding automotive stuff, and other auction buyers know that I buy automotive stuff, so they come to me when they find automotive stuff. Like, I found a 32 Ford 3-window coupe body in a locker that Mexicans bought for scrap. I didn't get to it in time, so they already scrapped the doors off of it, unfortunately. But it is what it is. At least I was able to save the body. So, waiting for my buddy to get here. He does not like to be on camera. He's kind of private, so I'm just going to wrap this up real quick. I'm going to try to get a big chunk of these books out of here. I hate books. But there's money in books. There's a lot of money in books. I just hate dealing with them. So I'm going to try to get, like, this out of here, I think. Or maybe this dresser. I don't know. That's where we find those guns, is behind that dresser. We're just going to work here for a little bit because got a storage auction right down the street at 2. It's like 12:45 right now, so we've got about an hour. See what I can get done. If I end up buying something there, I'll show you. If not, I probably won't, because they're a little private there. They don't like when people record. So I try to respect people's privacy. And the whole, like, nothing honorable about this thing. That's why I kind of stopped making storage locker videos, because it got depressing. I just, the people that make it big on there, like making storage locker videos, it's mostly clickbait. and they spend a lot of money just to get the views. Like, they spend thousands of dollars on lockers, and I'm not gonna put myself out like that, you know. I'm a little more selective. I like bidding on what I see, not what might be there. So, and honestly, if you saw this one, you would have thought it was all garbage, but I love these lockers. So they look like this. They're freaking amazing. I found a lot of car parts in here so far, so that's even better. All right, see you in a bit. Is that thing cool or what? Forgot I had this. I'm gonna unplug them so you guys can hear me talk. He died. Well, it is just after Christmas now. I made this clip once already, but I kind of had to rush through it because the battery was dying. Yeah, I know, it's a theme with me. And thought about it afterwards, and I'm gonna slow things down a little bit and make it a little better, I guess. That day I went to storage auction, didn't buy anything. There was one that had a newer Kawasaki Cruiser in it, motorcycle, the Crescent toolbox, and a lot of furniture. One for $14.50. I think we bid it up to $1,000. There was a nice bike. It had the key in it, but newer bikes are harder to get the titles for. The older ones are actually a lot easier. Just how it is, unfortunately. So, I would have been looking at that as like a parts bike, basically, and I have enough stuff already, so it wasn't worth going crazy on. I'm sure some of you saw my one video where we found a couple pew-pews in a storage locker. One of those videos actually went crazy. It's at like 70 or 75,000 views right now, and that's insane for one of my videos. So it's pretty exciting. I think I gained a lot of subscribers from it too. So actually a lot on my other channel that I no longer put any effort into for various reasons. The main reason being, I don't feel good about exploiting storage lockers. Basically exploiting other people's misery, and that doesn't sit well with me. It's not. I don't know. I actually believe in karma, and it's just. I don't know. It didn't leave me with a warm and fuzzy feeling. Let's put it that way. And it's not always other people's misery. It's a lot of times it's people inherit the stuff and they don't know what to do with it, and they just walk away from it. They're like, well, I don't have any interest in this crap. I don't want it. And sometimes it's, you know, family member dies and the family doesn't want the stuff. So it's still kind of sad, but I just didn't feel good about exploiting that. So I decided to focus more on my automotive stuff. But I want to show you how I afford my hobby and how I pay my bills. And, well, Jim don't work a 9-to-5 job. That is not in Jim's vocabulary. So get that out of the way. So welcome to my empire. This is, I know it might seem a little excessive, but, you know, I got a little bit of stuff. So I sell mostly on eBay. I think I have right now like 2,800 listings, and that's probably like not even 10% of what I have in here. Yeah, it's insane. I have more stuff than I could sell in 3 lifetimes, and I'm always out buying more. Where do I get this crap? Well, some of it comes out of storage lockers. Some of it comes from estates when somebody passes away, and businesses go out of business, etc., etc. So I have a lot of people that call me that know I buy automotive stuff. So when they come across stuff, they get a hold of me, such as this car. This car was found inside a storage locker that a friend bought. It is a one-owner 1968 Plymouth GTX 440 automatic with original paint. This thing was buried inside a locker that he paid $160 for. Yeah, insane. He gets halfway through emptying out the locker, finds the car. Well, he sees the windshield and the hood and sends me a picture of literally the windshield and the hood looking over a mountain of garbage. And he says, hey, there's a car in here. Do you think it's worth messing with? And from that one picture, I could tell it was a B-body Mopar 68 to 70. And yes, that car is definitely worth messing with. And here we are. And sitting on the hood of the car was a pair of new old stock Mopar front fenders. And I'm more excited about the fenders almost. But yeah, he paid $160 for the storage locker that this car was in, and I had no idea it was in there. So these things are out there hiding. The reason why I didn't really show this one before is he's kind of more on the private side. He doesn't like people knowing his business. And I respected that. So this car is actually getting picked up today and is being shipped to Florida or North Carolina. And from there, it's going to Brazil. Yep, this car went to Brazil, or going to Brazil. So kind of exciting, kind of sad at the same time. It's spent its whole life nearby here. It's actually been off the road since 1978 or 79, I believe. I actually had like an hour-long interview with the gentleman that grew up next door to this car, and he just wanted to see it. He wanted to make sure that it was in good hands and was going to be in good hands, and he just wanted to see it. And we had a nice long talk about the car's original owner and what he did for a living. And man, someone could write a book on that guy. It's insane. And I actually looked him up, and he wasn't joking. The guy was freaking freaking genius. It's got typical it needs quarters and trunk floor. Makes a great shelf, but it's a pretty much complete original car. He street raced it all through the 70s. It had a built motor in it, and air shocks and Kragers, so pretty cool car. So he wanted me to make him an offer on it, and I didn't feel right about that. It didn't sit well with me because I wasn't sure what the car was worth, what it was going to sell for. So I was honest with him. I said, I don't feel comfortable just buying it from you. So he proposed that I do all the work, transporting it, cleaning it out, getting the title straightened out, and selling it. And we'll split it 50-50. And I'm like, you know what? That works for me. So that's what we did. And we both walked away from this deal pretty happy overall. So yeah, stuff like that doesn't come along too often. So what do I have in my warehouse? Well, see these pallets here? Those all came from my buddy's dad's. Not buddy. His grandfather had an auto parts business. I believe it was called Gabriel Sales in Chicago. Mostly truck parts. They did auto parts too. When he passed away, they sold the business to somebody else, and that company decided not to sell parts anymore. So they had me come in and make him an offer on all the parts I wanted. So I did that. And it was like 3-4 years ago. It's still sitting here because, I got all this other stuff to get to. So, for example, that was a deal where, that company was no longer selling parts as part of their business and needed someone to come in and liquidate their inventory. So I relieved them of all their really good stuff and kind of left the crap. Just is what it is. I actually have a thing for 70s mag wheels. I have a lot of them in here. A lot of them. I hardly ever sell them. But yeah, like this. This was a guy. He came and offered me all these bug guards. They're like the colored ones, like the flat colored ones that go on the front of a hood of a truck or van. Made me an offer I couldn't refuse, and I ended up finding one piece in a whole lot that paid for everything, and kind of put them up there when I moved in, and haven't touched them since. And now those are going for like $200-300 each. So yeah, I've got a lot of stuff. I started out on eBay selling mostly new old stock car parts, and it kind of just escalated from there. Started doing a lot of vintage items, antiques, collectibles, and now I'm trying to get back into car parts primarily, because honestly I have more fun just doing that. Like here, new old stock grill for a Ford van. Obviously I'll probably keep that. This is Clark. Clark's a hard worker, but he is he's usually on disability, so you know, love-hate relationship with him. You guys have seen this. Haven't decided what I'm doing with it yet. I do have a lot of van parts, actually. This is another deal. The guy's father owned he was partners with an auto repair shop, and when he retired, as like severance, they gave him all of these hooker side pipe headers and a collection of old inventory, which was Coney struts and shocks. And when he passed away, I ended up buying everything off of him for a pretty reasonable price. And here it now sits in my warehouse of wonders. Like, that's a hooker fiberglass hood for a Chevy van. These are all new old stock fender flares for trucks and vans. I got a lot of that kind of stuff here. So here, looking for van stuff, I might have it. I don't really advertise the van stuff as much though, because I try to use it for myself sometimes. But you get the idea. This is basically how I'm able to afford living and afford my hobby. Here, the van front spoilers. These are all Lund moon visors. It's a whole stack of them. I haven't, stuff I need to get around to listing. So it's just insane. These are the Krager or Mr. Gasket magic louvers. They go on the back windows of like Mustangs and Camaros. Yeah, I've got a lot of those. These are new old stock 1970s van interior panels. So they're like pre-made, covered with vinyl or Naugahyde or whatever. Interior panels that go on like the door panels and side panels all inside. And I got these other pieces over here I'll show you that are really cool that go kind of along with these. These are here, those are like those visors. Like, here's a red one and here's a, I think it's smoke colored. What I usually do in the winter is I have a big like indoor like garage sale in here, like every January, about this time actually. But I decided not to do it this year because I just needed a break from everything, and I usually do really good on that. There's a way to save money. I get these from next door. They repair computers for Dell, I believe, and they throw these away by like the truckload. Oh, awesome for shipping small parts. Here, to go along with those panels, these are they call them bed caves. It's like a divider that goes in the back of the van, and if you have a bed, you put this in front of it, so it's like a little like cave entrance. You climb inside of it. Pretty cool pieces. Unfortunately, they fit Dodge. I don't deal with any Dodge stuff at all. These are all new old stock sliding rear windows for trucks. I've got a few of them. I've got more elsewhere. Here, these are those Coney struts and shocks I got with the hooker headers. That was actually a really good deal. I went there to look at the headers, and I had to buy everything, and actually I'll probably end up making more on the struts and shocks. There's like, I don't know, you can't see it, but there's like 3 or 4 shelves full of these. And there's more van parts, visors and stuff, flares, spoilers. Oh, yeah, that's how I'm able to afford these exotic, you know, mint condition vehicles. And honestly, it's not hard. Anybody can do it. You know, you don't have to work a 9-to-5 job. That almost sucked. They're all new old stock sheet metal up there, and just like I said, I barely have any of this stuff listed. It's just insane. Sometimes I get overwhelmed when I come in here. It's just it's overwhelming, yeah. But yeah, you get the idea. I should add something that really helps, like really helps, is find yourself a partner in life that is supportive. That's one huge key to all of this. My wife was my biggest advocate. Like, she could never say enough good things about me to her friends and family, and it helped because that's where a lot of these leads were coming from, or from friends and family. Like, somebody, you know, so-and-so's neighbor's uncle would die, and they're going to throw away all these car parts, so I'll come look at them. Maybe I'll make you an offer on them. Maybe they're worth money. And that's a problem. A lot of people don't realize that this stuff's worth money, so they're just going to throw it away. So it helps to, you know, to let everybody know what you're into and what you do, and that helps you network and, you know, find stuff. But yeah, she was honestly my biggest advocate in life, and she not only supported what I did, she pushed me to work harder and, you know, do better. And if you could find someone like that to spend your life with, then you're gonna be just fine. Trust me. It's having someone like that around you is a huge blessing, I guess you could say. So I am going to make some more room. I've been making a lot more room in here lately. I think this one's full of like Mercedes and BMW parts. I think I'm going to throw away most of them because I just don't have interest in selling them. So I'm going to pull that stuff down and try to get rid of all of what's in there right now. So I hope this gives you a better idea about me and what I do, and maybe it'll help some of you to, you know, make some money on your own, whether it's to support yourself or support your hobby. It's totally doable. There's a lot of stuff out there. I can't have all of it. There's a ton of great channels on here that show you how to get set up on selling on eBay and whatnot. Yeah, there's actually an app called Whatnot, eBay, and everything else. I'm trying to think of a couple off the top of my head. Craigslist Hunter is a good one. I actually know him pretty good. He's a good guy. It's Pete. Harry Tornado is a husband and wife. They actually do a real good job explaining what sells and what doesn't, and they give you a lot of tips and tricks. I already know everything they know. I just like watching other people work. It's fun. Shed Flips is another one. Again, husband and wife. They you know, they'll show you what sells, what doesn't sell. They give you tips and tricks on selling on eBay, and so it's, you know, a good way to get started. So I've been selling on eBay for a long time, long time. So all right, well, I'm gonna get to work, and hopefully this car is gone today because I need to get this Mustang in here so I can start parting that thing out. It's another thing. I just want the drivetrain out of it, but hopefully I can sell enough out of it to make the drivetrain cost me even less. That one right there. Yep. So, see you guys later. Thanks for watching.